So, my wife told me, you'll be sleeping on the couch until you apologize. This was after she accused me of cheating with her best friend. I looked at her and said, okay, 3 weeks later, I turned the guest room into my own personal bachelor pad. All right, Reddit, buckle up. Let me tell you about what might be the dumbest reason a marriage has ever fallen apart. Not infidelity. Not money issues. Not even that we just grew apart stuff people throw around when things fizzle. No, my marriage blew up over the fact that I helped her best friend carry groceries. Yeah, that's it. Groceries. My name's Nick. I'm 35, male. Been married to Rachel for 8 years. I work as a senior project manager at a tech firm. Rachel's in pharmaceutical sales. We have the whole white-picket-fence setup. House in the suburbs, 2-car garage, nice backyard, enough space for 2 dogs we don't have. American dream stuff. At least it used to be. About 7 months ago, things went completely off the rails, and over something so minor it still doesn't feel real when I say it out loud. It was a Saturday. Rachel's best friend Paige had come over for one of their wine and laughter nights. They were planning a girls' trip, giggling in that high-pitched way that always makes me shake my head and smile. I was out in the garage, working on my car, changing the oil, minding my own business. Around 8 RPM, Paige says her goodbyes. I hear her heels on the driveway, then some commotion. I glance over and see her by her trunk, clearly struggling. I was at the garage sink washing the grease off my hands when she called over. She'd gone to Costco earlier and had loaded up 6 full grocery bags and one of those giant 40-packs of water bottles. She looked embarrassed, kind of sheepish. Hey, Nick, sorry. I know you're busy, but my back's been killing me. Can you help me load these real quick? Now, for context, Paige is 32, married to a finance guy named Grant, who's almost never around. She's Rachel's college roommate, and honestly, over the years, she's become practically family. I've helped her move furniture, unclog drains, jumpstart her car. It's never been weird. It's just what you do when someone needs a hand. So I grabbed the water bottles and a couple of the heavier bags, walked them to her car. We talked for maybe 90 seconds, joked about how Costco makes you buy stuff you don't need. I mentioned this industrial-sized jar of pickles I got last month that's still sitting half full in the fridge. She laughed. I laughed. And then I walked back to the garage. That was it. 10 minutes later, I hear the unmistakable sound of rage in high heels. Rachel storms into the garage, face red, eyes wild, voice echoing off the concrete walls like a siren. I'm still lying under the car halfway through the oil change when she starts screaming, accusing me of flirting, of eyeing Paige in our own driveway, of disrespecting her in our home. I roll out slowly, grease on my hands, completely stunned. What are you talking about? I ask. She doesn't blink. Don't gaslight me, Nick. I saw how you looked at her. I saw you touching her bags. Her grocery bags? I say, you were flirting. You think I'm stupid? You think I don't see it? I put the wrench down, trying to stay calm. I've seen this side of her before, flashes of it. But this? This was different. Rachel, I said, I've helped Paige 100 times. You've been right there for most of it. You know that. Wrong move. Telling someone they're being irrational while they're in the middle of a spiral? Yeah, don't do that. She goes nuclear. You're sleeping on the couch until you apologize and admit what you did. I looked at her. Then I looked at the couch through the doorway, looked back at her again, and something in me just clicked. This wasn't about what actually happened. This was a power play, a setup, a manufactured crisis designed to make me grovel, and I'd seen her do it before. Usually over smaller things, forgetting to text back, not unloading the dishwasher, looking distracted during a dinner party. But this was next level, so I did something different. I wiped my hands, looked her right in the eye, and said, okay. She froze. Like she hadn't planned for that response. Like her whole script fell apart. Okay? She repeated. Yep, I said. I'll sleep on the couch. You're not going to say anything else? Nope. I walked past her, grabbed a pillow from the bedroom, and made myself at home on the couch. She just stood there, stunned, like I'd broken some kind of unwritten rule. She expected a fight, tears, denial, begging. But I was done playing along. She slammed the bedroom door so hard a picture frame rattled on the wall. I figured she thought I'd cave within the hour. That first night? Yeah, it sucked. That couch was designed by a sadist. By 2 a.m., my neck was in full rebellion. But I wasn't moving. I wasn't apologizing for something I didn't do. Morning came. I got up like I always do, 6 a.m., made coffee. Got dressed for work. Rachel came downstairs around 7 hour looking smug, like she was about to deliver a punchline. Ready to apologize? She asked. Nope. Her face hardened. Fine, enjoy the couch. That night she cooked dinner. For herself. Nothing for me. Just clanged the pans extra loud so I'd notice. Petty stuff. So I ordered Thai food and ate it alone on the couch, flipping through Netflix like nothing had happened. This went on for 3 days. My back was screaming. The couch was pure hell. But every morning she asked if I was ready to apologize, and every morning I said no. She started living like I wasn't even there, making plans, watching shows we used to watch together and without me, walking past me like I was a ghost in my own house, and on day 4 I hit my breaking point. Not with her, with the damn couch. Then I remembered the guest room, the one upstairs that had slowly turned into a storage space. Used to be an office, then a craft room, then nothing, so I cleaned it out, rolled in a mattress from the basement, brought up my old mini fridge, dug out the TV I'd stored years ago, even found that beat-up beanbag chair Rachel always made fun of, but used to curl up in when we were dating. Within a day, I'd built my own little bunker. A retreat. A sanctuary where I could breathe, and somewhere between hanging up string lights and plugging in my PlayStation, it hit me. I didn't miss her. I didn't miss the drama, the eggshells, the emotional landmines. I missed the idea of who we used to be. But that version of us, it was long gone. She thought she was banishing me to the couch. But really, she handed me the keys to freedom. The guest room had always just existed. A space that once had purpose, but had slowly become a graveyard for things no one wanted to deal with. Old clothes, forgotten boxes, a sad little air mattress shoved in the corner like a reminder of guests that never came. Rachel's mom hadn't visited in 2 years, and her brother lived all the way in Seattle. The room had basically turned into a storage unit with windows, so I grabbed my pillow, walked past the couch, and moved in. The air mattress wasn't great, honestly. Only slightly better than the couch, but it gave me room to stretch out, and more importantly, it gave me space. Rachel noticed right away. Couch not good enough for you? She asked, a smug little smile playing on her lips. Yep, I said. Still not ready to apologize? Nope, and that smile. That smile told me everything I needed to know. She liked this, liked seeing me uncomfortable, believed she was winning some sort of war. And in that moment, standing in the doorway with her arms folded and her eyes cold, I realized this wasn't a rough patch. This was a pattern, a toxic little game she thought I'd keep playing forever. But here's the thing about me. I'm stubborn as hell when I know I'm right. And I don't sit in misery. I adapt. I evolve. If she wanted me out of the bedroom, fine. But I wasn't going to suffer just to feed her narrative. I started thinking, I make good money. So does she. We have separate checking accounts for personal spending once the bills are paid. And I'd been saving at about $4,000 for a home gym setup I'd been eyeing. But standing in that cluttered little room, staring at all that wasted space, and remembering that smug look on her face every morning, yeah, I had a better idea. Why the hell should I be uncomfortable in my own house? If she wanted to turn this into a standoff, I was done playing the victim. I was going to build a space I actually wanted to be in, a space that felt like mine. On day 5 of my exile, I ordered a king-size memory foam mattress. When it arrived, setting it up felt like therapy. I lay down on it that night, arms outstretched, and laughed out loud. It was like sleeping on a cloud made entirely of middle fingers aimed right at Rachel. But the mattress? That was just the beginning. The room still felt like hers. Her old clothes. Her junky furniture, the past. If I was going to live here, it needed to feel like now. Like me. Day 6, I started mapping it out, measuring walls, sketching layout ideas in my head. It wasn't huge, but it was enough. About 14 by 16 feet. East wall had a big window, soft morning light. Closet on the north wall, currently stuffed with her old coats and forgotten scarves. Day 7, I found a leather sectional recliner on Facebook Marketplace. Guy was going through a divorce, selling off his man cave. We exchanged a look that needed no words. Solidarity. I called up Connor, my college roommate, my best friend, and we loaded it into his truck while Rachel was at Pilates. By the time she came home, it was already in the room, reclined to perfection in the corner, fit like it was always meant to be there. Connor looked around and raised an eyebrow. "Dude, what is this?" So I told him everything. The accusations, the couch, the Cold War vibe. He laughed, full-on belly laughed. "You're building a bachelor pad inside your own marriage." "Technically," I said. "She's the one who kicked me out." He nodded, cracking open a beer. "Genius or completely insane? Why not both?" We toasted to whatever the hell I was doing. That night, after Connor left, I sat in that recliner, alone in my room, on my terms, and I felt something I hadn't felt in weeks. Maybe months. Peace, no accusations, no cold shoulders, no walking on eggshells trying to predict when the next emotional ambush would come, just silence, comfort, peace. On day 8, I went all in, bought a 65-inch 4K TV from Best Buy, dropped $100 and $200 and didn't feel a shred of guilt. Mounted it on the wall opposite the bed, picture perfect from the mattress or the recliner. Grabbed a soundbar too. The audio in that room? Better than the living room by miles. Rachel wasn't thrilled when she heard the surround sound thumping through the door. That was noticeable. Then came the essentials. Day 9, I ordered a mini fridge. Amazon, $80. Tossed in a microwave while I was at it. $75. Floating shelves for snacks. A rug that actually tied the room together. It started feeling less like exile, and more like home, she noticed. Oh, she noticed I'd see her watching from the upstairs window whenever the delivery trucks rolled up. Didn't say anything, but I could read her face. Tight-lipped, eyes narrowed. Confused, annoyed, she thought I was up there sulking. That I was suffering, sleeping on some crappy air mattress, counting the minutes until I crawled back and begged, she had no idea. By day 10, I started clearing her stuff out. Not in a cruel way, just moving it. Her old clothes, attic, boxes of random stuff, basement. Every drawer I reclaimed felt like a step forward. Day 12, I treated myself. Finally bought a PS5. Had wanted one for months, but Rachel always called it a waste of money. Well, this was my money. My room, my rules. Also picked up one of those racing-style gaming chairs, lumbar support and everything. My back deserved it after surviving that medieval couch. Then I added some flair. LED strip lights across the ceiling, color changing, controlled by my phone. Set a moody purple for gaming, soft amber for reading. Got a solid desk, big enough for my laptop, some books, a decent lamp. The room was changing. No, I was changing. What started as a spare room full of junk was becoming a place of purpose. My space, my sanctuary. Rachel started to catch on around week 2. She'd been walking past the door twice a day, probably imagining me curled up on that sad little mattress, living in shame. But then, one night, she grabbed the doorknob, it didn't budge. "Nick?" she called. "Why is the door locked?" I'd installed a keypad that afternoon. Digital lock. Only I knew the code. "Privacy," I called back through the door. "What the hell do you need privacy for?" "Same reason you kicked me out of our bedroom." Silence. Then came the jiggling. Then the pounding. "Open this door right now." "No. Nick, I swear to God, you can swear all you want." "This is my room now," I heard her stomp away. Then, through the walls, I heard her on the phone with her mom. Loud, dramatic. She was calling me crazy, immature. Said I was ruining the marriage. Her mom, bless her heart, asked, "Okay, but..." "What exactly did he do?" Rachel had no answer. Just kept saying, "He knows what he did." I smiled and turned up the volume on my sound system. By week 3, I'd spent close to $5,000 turning that forgotten little storage room into something beautiful. A place that was mine, and for the first time in a long, long time. I didn't feel married. I felt free, and honestly, best investment of my life. I had everything I needed in that room. A bed that actually loved me back. A killer entertainment setup, a mini fridge stocked with cold drinks and snacks, a microwave for easy meals, a space heater for those chilly mornings, and a fan for when it got stuffy. What started as a spare room had become something more. It wasn't just a place to sleep. It was a declaration. I don't need anyone's permission to be comfortable in my own damn house. For 8 years, I'd compromised. On furniture, on paint colors, on where I could put my stuff. I bent, adjusted, kept the peace. But not in this room. This space was mine. 100%. No negotiations, I even got a small coffee maker. Waking up, brewing a fresh cup, starting my day without ever leaving my room. It felt like freedom. Rachel tried to fight back, subtle things at first. She stopped doing my laundry, jokes on her. I bought a portable washer-dryer combo off Craigslist. $500. Fits right in my closet. Now I do laundry on my schedule. No piles, no waiting, no accidental shrinking. She stopped cooking for me. No big deal. I started meal prepping every Sunday. Chicken, rice, veggies, all portioned out, packed neatly into containers, sitting cold and ready in my mini fridge. I even got an air fryer, $90, and that thing? Pure magic. Crispy wings in 12 minutes. I was eating better than I had in years. Every move she made to punish me just made me more independent. It was almost poetic. Like she was helping me build a better life without even realizing it. One Saturday, Connor came over to watch football. We kicked back in my room, cold sodas from the fridge, game on the big screen. He looked around and just shook his head. I need to piss off my girlfriend so I can build one of these. We both laughed. Rachel did not. She started yelling through the door about how the room was supposed to be for guests. I yelled back, "Connor is a guest!" She threatened to call the cops. I told her to go ahead. Then, silence. Just like that, the pounding stopped. And that room? It became my world. I worked from home in there sometimes using my desk and laptop. At night, I gamed, read books, stretched on the yoga mat with some resistance bands I picked up. I was more productive and honestly happier than I'd been in a long time. Rachel stayed in the master bedroom. Probably stewing, but that wasn't my problem anymore. She'd made her choice. I'd made mine. And mine came with a mini fridge and a PlayStation. By that point, Rachel and I barely spoke. We'd become like two strangers in a shared space, roommates who avoided eye contact, meals, and conversation. She'd cook for herself. I'd heat up my food in my room. We passed in the hallway like ghosts. It was weird, yeah, but also kind of peaceful. Less drama, less tension, just stillness. I started moving through the house like a shadow, listening for her footsteps before leaving my room. Timing bathroom breaks so we'd never cross paths. She did the same. I'd hear her pause outside the hallway if I was there, then quietly backtrack. We weren't fixing anything. We were just dodging the problem. But in a weird way, that made things easier. Still, she couldn't leave it alone. She needed a win. She needed me to break. And when I didn't, she started escalating. First came the petty stuff, blasting music early in the morning. So I bought noise-canceling headphones. Problem solved. Then she used up all the hot water before I woke up. So I adjusted my schedule. Night showers now. Cool. When that didn't work, she started trying to drag other people into it. Her mom called me at work. "Nick, honey, what's going on with you and Rachel?" She says things are tense. I took a deep breath. She kicked me out of our bedroom because I helped her friend carry groceries. Silence. Then, "Are you kidding me? That's what this is about?" "Yep, and you won't just apologize?" "For what? Being a decent human being?" More silence. She says you're living in the guest room and won't come out. I come out. I just sleep in there. She's the one who exiled me. In the background, I could hear Rachel yelling something. Her mom sighed. "You two need counseling." "I'm not the one who needs it," I said. She hung up. Then Rachel tried the same thing with my mom. My mom called. I told her the whole story. She laughed. I mean, really laughed. "Your father slept in the garage for a week once," she said. "You're doing better than that. Keep going." God, I love my mom. Even Paige, the friend in question, reached out. "Nick, I'm so sorry," she said. I didn't know asking for help would blow things up like this. "It's not your fault," I told her. "Rachel's being irrational." She's really upset, though. "About what?" "That I helped you carry groceries?" There was a long pause. When you say it like that, it does sound kind of ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Then she hesitated. "Maybe you should just apologize, just to keep the peace." "If I apologize for this, what's next? Do I apologize every time I talk to a woman? Every time I help a neighbor?" She didn't have an answer. We hung up on decent terms, but it was clear Rachel had painted herself as the victim, and people were starting to buy it. Then she tried a new tactic. Suddenly, she was nice. She started making my favorite meals again, leaving them on the kitchen counter with sticky notes. Made your favorite. Miss you, I'd see the food, order pizza instead. And eat in my room. She bought me a new watch, something sleek and expensive. Left it on the counter with another note. Saw this and thought of you. I left it right where she put it. She could return it. Then came the lingerie phase. I'd come home and find her sprawled on the couch in full Victoria's Secret, flipping through magazines like it was nothing. I'd nod. Hey, and head upstairs, the look of frustration on her face. Priceless. That nice phase lasted 2 weeks. When that didn't work, she flipped the script again. She changed the Wi-Fi password. Didn't tell me, I came home, couldn't connect. Just smiled. Called Comcast. Had my own internet line installed directly to my room. $90 a month and worth every penny. Even the technician was confused. You want a separate line just for this one room? Yup, he raised an eyebrow. Marriage problems? I just laughed. Let's just say, this room needs its own internet. I'd been tiptoeing around Rachel's chaos for months. Wine nights, book clubs, even some weird jewelry party that felt more like a sales ambush than a social. She made sure every event was loud enough to rattle my door, but I kept my cool. Turned up my soundbar, lost myself in my games, pretended it didn't bother me. Then one Tuesday, I came home and everything changed. My door was wide open. The lock, gone. Just 2 raw holes staring back at me. Inside, my world was upside down. My PlayStation moved, my fridge unplugged, my food spoiling. Sheets on the floor, papers scattered, drawers ripped open. And there on my desk, a note, inspection for damages. You're destroying property. Rachel. For a moment, I just stood there, the silence heavier than anything she'd ever screamed. Something in me snapped, no, shifted. I was done playing defense. This was war. I took photos of everything, the broken lock, the mess, that smug little note. Then I called her. She picked up on the first ring, voice sharp as ever. The room needed inspection, she said. You broke into my room and destroyed my stuff, I told her. It's my house too, Nick. I can go wherever I want. You removed my lock. That's destruction of property. She just laughed. Prove it. I hung up. Didn't yell. Didn't explain. Just called someone else, Connor. I need a lawyer, I said. The next day, I was sitting across from Dalton, a divorce lawyer with that dangerous smile, the kind that says, I've seen this before, and I know how to win. He listened quietly while I laid it all out, the lies, the manipulation, the invasion. When I finished, he leaned back and said, This isn't just drama, Nick. It's abuse, financial, emotional, and psychological. Hearing it out loud, it hit different. Suddenly, it wasn't just her being difficult, it was a pattern. A cage I hadn't realized I was in. By the next morning, Dalton had papers ready, legal separation, reimbursement for damages, and exclusive use of my room. When Rachel got served at work, my phone lit up like fireworks. You got a lawyer? Are you serious? I didn't answer. She stormed home later, pounding on my new $400 lock, the kind you could survive a zombie apocalypse behind. You can't do this! She screamed. I already did, I said, and for the first time in a long time, I meant it. The judge was going to grant the order. Dalton was sure of it. But 3 weeks can feel like forever when someone's unraveling. And Rachel, she wasn't just unraveling. She was coming apart thread by thread. When she realized she couldn't control me anymore, she went for everyone else. It started online. A post on Facebook dripping with fake vulnerability. She never said my name, but she didn't have to. Everyone who knew us could connect the dots. She wrote about emotional abuse, about being trapped in her own home. 200 likes. Dozens of "you're so strong" comments. Connor sent me a screenshot. You seeing this? Yep. You gonna respond? Nope. Dalton had told me the same thing. Don't engage. Let her dig her own grave. Then came the calls. Rachel's mom rang up my mom accusing me of abusing her daughter. My mom laughed. He's sleeping in the spare room because he helped someone carry groceries. That's not abuse, that's manners. Click. Call ended. She phoned me right after, still laughing. That woman's been dramatic since '82. Rachel gets it honest. But things got darker. Rachel started calling my work. The main office line. She'd ask for me, then just cry and hang up. After the third time, Maria at reception started screening my calls. The real explosion came 2 weeks before the hearing. I walked in from work and there was Paige, sitting awkwardly at the dining table. Rachel was in the kitchen, acting like some Stepford version of herself, cooking salmon, smiling too wide. Paige looked uncomfortable, like she'd walked into a trap. "Nick, you're home," Rachel chirped. Paige came over. "I'm making salmon." I glanced at Paige, then at her. I got it instantly. The performance, the setup, the manipulation. "Hey, Paige," I said calmly, then turned to Rachel. "I've got plans," her smile cracked. "What plans?" "Dinner with Connor." "You didn't tell me. I don't need to." I grabbed a protein shake, walked to my room, and shut the door behind me. Her voice rose, high and panicked. Paige made an excuse about an early morning and left. A minute later, Rachel was pounding on my door, crying, accusing, unraveling again. I didn't answer. 3 days before the hearing, she was gone. Completely. Closet empty. Drawers cleared. A note on the counter. "Since you want to live alone so badly." Perfect. She'd moved out on her own. Dalton was thrilled. "That helps our case," he said. And then came the silence. Heavy. Real. The kind that fills every corner. For the first time in months, I felt relief. The hearing was quick. The judge barely looked up after reading the evidence. Rachel tried her usual act, talking about flirting and disrespect. The judge cut her off mid-sentence. "You kicked your husband out for helping a friend, then destroyed his property when he adapted to it." "I'm granting the exclusive use order," Rachel cried. Her lawyer looked like he wanted to disappear. Dalton just smiled. "That went well," he said as we walked out. But he was right about one thing. Rachel wasn't done. Not even close. A week later, she came back to the house. I wasn't home, but the cameras caught everything. She wandered around like a ghost, touching the photos, crying, tried my locked door, then stormed into the master bedroom and started breaking things. Her things. Makeup shattered against the mirror, clothes flying. Finally, she collapsed on the floor and sobbed. Dalton's voice was firm when I called him. "Don't be alone with her. If she shows up, leave." 2 nights later, she did. Pounding on the door, screaming, then crash. A rock through the front window. I called 911. The officers came, saw the footage, documented everything. She was charged with vandalism and escorted out. Connor stood beside me, drink in hand, shaking his head. "Dude, she's gone off the deep end." I just stared at the cracked glass. "Yeah, I'm fine," I said quietly. "Just tired." As we swept up the shards, I couldn't stop thinking about the day we'd bought this house. How we'd talked about growing old here. And now she was hurling stones at the life we built. Funny thing about life, it doesn't just change. Sometimes it breaks, and you have to decide which pieces are worth keeping. My mom was right. Rachel didn't need another argument. She needed help. Real professional help. But I couldn't give her that anymore. Dalton was clear. She'd violated the court order, harassed my family, crossed every line. "We have enough," he said. "Let's end it." 3 days later, the divorce papers were filed. Rachel got served at her sister Vicky's place. That night, Vicky called me, her voice shaky. "Nick, what's happening?" She said you blindsided her. I told her everything. The accusations, the vandalism, the restraining order. There was a long pause, then a sigh. "She's not okay, Nick. She's been drinking every night, stalking your socials at 3 a.m. I didn't feel angry. "Just tired. I'm sorry she's hurting," I said, "but I didn't cause it. California law meant 6 months of waiting, 6 long months to finalize everything." Rachel fought it all, wanted the house, the cars, alimony, even my PlayStation. Dalton was unshaken. He had everything, screenshots, police reports, video evidence, every lie she'd told, every stunt she'd pulled, laid out like chapters in a case study. "She built the fire," Dalton said. "Now she has to stand in it." 2 weeks after the rock incident, we got an emergency order. The whole house was legally mine. I changed every lock, finally legally this time. 6 months later came mediation day. Dalton and I sat across from Rachel and her lawyer, Bernard, in a conference room that smelled like coffee and old carpet. She looked broken. Hair unbrushed, eyes hollow, hands trembling as she scrolled through her phone. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her, until I remembered the chaos, the lies, the rock through my window. Sympathy gone. The mediator, Frank, was calm, the kind of guy who's seen every flavor of heartbreak. He laid everything out. The house, the cars, the accounts. Then Dalton slid over a binder 3 inches thick. Every message, every photo, every report, all neatly organized. You could practically hear the weight of the truth when it hit the table. Bernard flipped through it, his face turning pale page by page. Rachel sat in silence, tears streaking down her cheeks. Frank finally looked up. "Mrs. Williams, you removed your husband from the bedroom. For helping a friend carry groceries?" "It was more than that," she whispered. "According to this, it wasn't." He kept going. "You destroyed property. Violated a court order. Threw a rock through the window," Rachel broke down. "He made me crazy. He was sleeping with Paige." Dalton didn't even flinch. He pulled out a notarized statement, pages, denying everything and confirming the friendship was purely platonic. He slid it across like a final move in a chess match. Bernard read it, exhaled, and shut his eyes. "Do you have any evidence of an affair?" Frank asked. Rachel's voice cracked. "I know what I saw." "That's not evidence," he said softly. Dalton leaned forward. "We're requesting reimbursement for damages and legal fees. $15,000 total credited from her equity," Frank nodded. "Given the behavior and evidence, I'm recommending Mr. Williams retain the house. He pays Mrs. Williams $185,000, her equity share minus the damages." Bernard whispered something to her. She shook her head, whispering no again and again. But he kept talking. Finally, he turned to us. "We'll take 48 hours to consider." Dalton smiled. "After that, we go to trial." The next day, Bernard called back. She accepted. Paper signed within a week. I wrote her a check for $185,000. She didn't look at me, just took it. Walked out, and that was it. 6 months after she'd first been served, I got an email. "Your marriage to Rachel Ann Williams has been dissolved." Just like that. 8 years of marriage reduced to one line buried between a spam email and a dentist reminder. I should have felt something. Grief, maybe. But all I felt was peace. Real quiet peace. I smiled. 2 weeks later, her number lit up my phone at 2 a.m. "You ruined my life. I hope you're happy." I blocked it. Changed my number the next day. Connor came over, helped me change the locks again, just to be safe. We cracked open a few beers sitting in my room, the same one that used to feel like a bunker, but now felt like home. "So what now?" he asked. "Now?" I said, raising my glass. "Now I live my life," he grinned. "You know what's wild?" "You won by doing nothing." He was right. I didn't fight fire with fire. I just stopped feeding it. That night, another message popped up. "Unknown number. Nick, it's Rachel. Please talk to me." "I'm sorry. I'm in therapy." I stared at it for a long second, then blocked it too, and for the first time in months, I slept like a man who had his house and his peace back. To anyone going through something like this, don't apologize for standing your ground. When they try to break you, build something stronger instead. I'm divorced. I've got my home and life. Life is finally good.